Welcome to Heroes of Cosplay Sanctuary podcast. This is your host, Scotty B. Today is just a little bit of a different day, ladies and gentlemen. I have a guest today, one of the most inspiring people I've ever met. She introduced me to the bright side of cosplay, and I've never looked back. Outside of breaking Facebook and the internet in general with her Wonder Woman cosplay, she's done so much for the industry and brought thousands and thousands to Vero as a social platform. She works tirelessly for charity, raising money, awareness, and helping the homeless whenever she has time, and even when she doesn't. She's been recognized all over the internet for her cosplays, making appearances on Geekvised, Romero Films, with Kevin the Director, Superpower Reviews, Real in Motion, and the Not So Serious Show, along with many, many others. She caught the attention of celebrities and directors with her hashtag Release the Snyder Cut movement, receiving acknowledgments from Zack Snyder himself. She went full-time into cosplay to follow her passion and her dream, and it is transforming the industry daily. I could never say enough good things about this guest. Friends, please welcome a huge inspiration to the podcast, literally Wonder Woman, Lis Wonder.
Wow. That was incredible. Thank you, Scott.
Well, I had a little bit of time to think about that one because we were going back to December, and the original idea was to actually have each of the Squadghoulz interview separately, but then we did it as a group. So I didn't get to include quite as much as I wanted to. So I'm so glad that you came back, and welcome to the show. I have, of course, many, many questions. I've probably reduced it a little bit, but there were a few things that we started to talk about once upon a time in the Squadghoulz podcast, and I hope that we have some more time to go into some of those subjects today. So some basic introductions. If we can go back for the audience all the way to when Lis Wonder became Lis Wonder, because in the beginning it wasn't something that you were totally sure about.
Yeah, correct. So I didn't know, what name to use. I just opened an Instagram and I was just having fun. Just posted a picture of my first cosplay ever, which wasn't even a cosplay. It was just me with a tiara. But I call it cosplay because I was having fun custom playing, right? And so I put that tiara on and I took a picture, and I remember that Gal Gadot's fandom, she has a lot of pages and fan pages and stuff like that they're so supportive of her. And one of them, Hero Lab, I think, discovered this picture that I don't even know what hashtag. I probably used Wonder Woman or something, and started sharing, and then they shared and shared and shared, and then I ended up just being a little tiny viral within the fandoms. And so I really like Wonder Woman. It really inspired me to cosplay. And my first name was Liz Joy back then. And so I was talking to one of my friend, X-Men of Steel, and he told me, he was like, maybe you should come up with a name that represents what character you do the most, but without making it so that's all you do, So that's how Lis Wonder came up, and I think wonder is a great word. Wonderful, wonders. I mean, I really like it, and so it just worked out. So yeah, Lis is my real name actually. A lot of people ask me, is it short for something? Is it fake? No, it is my name, just like that, Lis.
You started working with Vero True Social a while back, and that's actually where I met you, was at C2E2 while you were at the Vero booth. I was sad this year they didn't really have a booth. They did something a little bit different, which was fine, but I was looking forward to seeing them again. And with Vero, I guess, would you like to talk about how you found Vero True Social and how you started to collaborate with them?
Definitely. I mean, I've always been since the day that Man of Steel came out, and then obviously we have Batman vs Superman, which is one of my favorite movies, and it's where Wonder Woman got introduced as this badass superhero that just came out of nowhere, and even Batman vs Superman are like, is she with you? Like, who is this lady? She's one of the few women that have impacted me in the movie industry, like like that. And so I always been a fan of Zack Snyder since, you know, he's done so much, 300, Sucker Punch. And so I knew that was his platform of kind of connecting with people. There has to be a reason why. And so I had opened a Vero just to kind of see what he does, like check out the social media platform. I wasn't really like sure of all the things that this social media platform was capable of. And a month later, after opening it, I on Instagram, actually on another platform, I got a message, and it was just to get me together with Vero, because it was the platform that I used the most to connect with people, and pretty much like I got a message to collaborate with Clay Enos, which is the photographer for DC. And I wanted to go ahead and, you know, they want to do a lot for cosplay community. They want to get cosplayers to jump into the Vero platform because they have so much to offer. And then I started checking out all the other things that they were talking about. And it's so true. It's such an amazing platform. You get high resolution pictures, you know, like you work so hard on creating these photo shoots and doing all this work, and then you don't lose that. You don't have to crop anything. It just goes as it is, full quality HD. You can zoom in. Then you can also share links, which is, for me, is very important, especially when I do fundraisers and things like that. I noticed before on Instagram, you have to have over 10,000 followers to be able to share a link, which to me is a little bit ridiculous. We're all trying to share things that we like, and it's a community. And then the fact that they measure it on how many followers you have to be able to share a link, it really bothered me. And with Vero, you actually share it on your page, and you can click directly on it. It doesn't matter if you have 1 follower or 0, but at least you can click that link, and you can share your work. And that's a way to grow without having to be, you know, desperate for followers, or like all this crazy hype that Instagram makes you feel like you have to be someone else than yourself a little bit sometimes. Yeah, you know how it is. It's just like, it's this crazy world. Like lately, I've been really on Twitter more. I can't believe I'm saying that. So like my platforms are like mostly Vero and Twitter. I don't know if you noticed that trend that I've been just lightly just going into Twitter and Vero only.
Yeah, Twitter knows me, so I generally, like, I'm all excited because I'm like, ooh, look at all these messages I got, and it's all your notifications. Like, Liz tweeted, Liz tweeted, Liz tweeted. So yeah, they know me too well. But I think it's great that you're back and getting more engaged on Twitter. I think right now, especially, a lot of people are probably coming back to that platform. But I don't know, it feels like it leveled off versus some of the other bigger platforms. Maybe not Facebook, but like a lot of people were jumping to TikTok, which I know that you've also gone on.
Yeah, it's great.
And no, I think it's great that you're able to engage with people through Twitter. But I just Vero really, like, that one. That one just sits with me differently. I'm Scotty B official on that one. I haven't changed anything over to Heroes because for me it's a much more just organic sort of personal space. I always appreciate, and I do share a little bit of different content there too, as I know you do. But I do like how they have it set up versus some of the other platforms. I mean, some of the uploading is a little bit tricky, but once you get that down, it's just, I don't know, it just has a better feel to it. It's a closer group, and you can create better. Like, I think you can kind of tailor your audience so you can have friends and close friends and acquaintances, and it just feels like they put a little bit more thought into those pieces of it. So I like that about it.
Your audience targeted differently. You can even have a profile picture for each of the audience, like, or share my picture with only 4 people, or I mean, there's certain things that you can do, but also I like that they are, since I'm so into Twitter, like I said, I like that you can share something on Twitter from your Vero account. So I do that a lot. I don't have to be loading and uploading. And luckily, the community that I build on Twitter, almost all of them have Vero. So it's kind of, you call it Vero, I call it Vero. I don't know. It's just like, so most
You're
of them,
probably saying it right. I probably got it wrong.
Vero because
Vero.
it's Italian. I don't know, like Drew, you know? I don't know. It's very. And so to me, it's kind of like they go hand in hand. I think, yeah, definitely. Like, especially lately with this everything that's going on in the world, like there's so many things that you can recommend on Vero, like movies, music, not places right now because a lot of them are closed, but just it's more like of a community. So yes.
And you mentioned your shoot with Clay. And I am familiar with Clay. I've looked at a lot of his work. He's an amazing photographer and artist. He's worked with a lot of different celebrities, and he has just a very just a beautiful portfolio of street life and portraits and movies on his site. But he did collaborate with Vero on a short video. I don't know if you've been to the YouTube channel to check out what they did, but a while back they put together a video working with him, and you're about 15 seconds into the video. And what they do, like he puts down a picture of Margot Robbie, and then he puts down a picture of Sam Elliott, and then he puts down your picture from your photo shoot. So Lis Wonder tops Margot Robbie and Sam Elliott. I think that speaks volumes about Clay and about just the artistic presence that you have. So I hope you don't mind me saying so. But would you like to share some of the working with Clay and how that shoot went?
I have to say that he's one of the happiest, most genuine, most humble, most caring people I've met. And he literally smiles from here to here, and he gives you this warmth. I know it's so weird because sometimes when I was looking at pictures of Clay before meeting him, it's kind of a big deal. You're like, I'm meeting Clay, it's like, and he takes all these portraits, and especially of Wonder Woman. He's the only DC photographer that has shot her in her outfit. And so you see this powerful Wonder Woman, like, sort of thing. And then you see pictures of Clay online, and he's always so serious, super strong, like with the celebrities around. And I kind of felt intimidated in the sense of like, oh my gosh, I really hope I am what they think, because they're just blindfolded to flying me to New York to do this photo shoot for Vero. They don't know me. Like, I could be a catfish. That's the first thing I said to him when I met him. I walk in the door and I'm like, catfish! And he was laughing. So good. And his wife is so sweet. And it's totally opposite. It was just like my imagination of what I thought. It was just so different. And so I remember I felt so comfortable. He made me feel so good. And I remember him posting like, oh, I want you to do this, I want you to do that. He's very creative, and he has specific ways that he wants to do certain things. And so I loved that. He really guided me through the whole experience. It was my first blown photo shoot like ever, and doing, dressed up as my favorite character, and also surrounded by these amazing people that were just genuinely happy to be there. So you can always tell what the people are by the people that surround them, and everybody that was there was just so sweet. And his wife was just, oh, she's the best. And they just made me feel incredible. They played the music, the theme song from Wonder Woman, and it was surreal. I wish I could relive it again. It was just one of those things that such a blessing.
And it turned out so well, and it was so creative. Just watching him go through the process, they kind of had a few cutscenes that they shared on Vero, and like how he went through the blocking processes and kind of set everything up first, and then everybody went into costume and he set everything up. And yeah, he was very meticulous and detailed, like how he wanted everything to really be. And I guess I've heard on other casts, ones that as of today haven't come out yet, but they will be by the time this shows up, that it's always better if the photographer does have a bit of a, like if he's kind of in charge or in control of what's going on. It seems like it's a little bit more organized and just easier if there is that kind of direction versus, well, what do you think, or what do you want to do? Like, I guess, what's your preference in shooting? Do you like that more, or do you like it where you have a lot more involvement, or that it's a lot freer?
I mean, it just depends, right? So like when it comes to for example, one of my favorite people I shot with, Edward Photography, and it's because he had in mind every single picture that he wanted to do. And then he set us up it was a group of 5 of us, obviously. It was actually maybe more. It was a Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Cyborg, Aquaman, and am I missing somebody? Superman, did I say already?
There's 6 of them, aren't there?
Yeah, that's the thing. I think there's 5.
Flash? Did we say Flash?
A Flash and Flash. Okay, so it was a lot of us, and so like we're trying to figure out, we get there dressed up in MegaCon, and imagine if we would not have an organized schedule and way of taking pictures. Like it would have taken forever. It would have been exhausting. I mean, I know that Nashville night suit weighs about, I don't even know, over 50 pounds. There you go.
Nashville.
So he's like, hold it for me. I was like, how can you wear this? And Florida is hot. It's not easy to be wearing these suits. And so mine, luckily, is a skirt and a little corset. So I'm like, I'm okay. But theirs are, the Flash, Batman. It's just so intense. And so for certain photo shoots like that, imagine the stormtroopers too. It's better to have, what you want as a photographer, and this is where I want you. This is what I want you to do. This is my vision of it. Now, when it's more like a casual thing, I kind of like that they give me also the opportunity to be creative, because that's what cosplay is about too. It's not just dressing up, but also, hey, can I do this pose? Can I try this? Let's try this together. So there's balance in both, and there's a timing for both. But it's like a bigger, production, it's way better, obviously, if the photographer knows what they want and guides you so that it's not so exhausting.
So there were a few issues with Justice League. Okay, and there's been a lot of talk about bringing the original cut, which by my standards should be maybe about an hour and a half longer than the movie that we got. I will just say this for everybody: Batman vs Superman was an amazing movie with an amazing director. And I think I've watched the theater cut once because I went to see it in the movies, but as soon as I got the DVD, I never watched the theater cut. I watched Zach's cut, which was like 3 and some. It was long, but it was, in my opinion, it covered things that I'm glad that he included. So $40 million later and a huge viral campaign later, we come to the determination that that's what it would take to finish what was already done. So 4 years later, Zach goes on Vero for the Batman vs Superman anniversary, and I think you had a bit of a launch party for that, or a viewing party. At least I saw a mention of it, and I did watch some of it too. He is so nice. The way that he went about sharing everything with everybody who was tuning in on Vero, and you can watch it on YouTube now. He has such a nice way of explaining everything and his whole thought process, and he is so detailed. His storyboards are just so much fun to look at. When he shared everything about that movie, and it breaks my heart a little bit that he can't do the same with the Justice League because of the way that things went. I just wondered if you might like to jump in on that and talk about the Snyder Cut and what it means to you.
Well, definitely. I mean, I don't want to sound like, how do I say this? I was born in Cuba, a communist country. I know what creative freedom could be, can be taken away from you, and it almost felt like a way of taking away that I don't know, I don't want to involve like politics or anything like that. It's just like it took away everything that he was building, and it stopped his creative freedom as a director, and they created this mess that was completely different than what we had seen before and what he was preparing for. Because it not just started like Justice League, it started with Men of Steel. Then you
Mhm.
Woman vs. Superman, which he starts the movie with the Men of Steel. And so, and then you're building all this based on one of my favorite books, because there's a lot of parallels with the Injustice timeline. And so you can see that through the nightmare scene. You can see that through what he's going with this. And then boom, it's over. And it's kind of like, it's just so sad. And to me, if you dedicate, if you committed to this and you have fandom that appreciates it, that really is a DC fandom, like, don't take that away from people. Don't do that. That's wrong. And there's so many things that were done wrong about that. And so I still have faith and hopes that it gets released. It's 214 minutes of awesomeness, and of a proper Wonder Woman. I hate how she there's scenes that I just don't like when Flash falls on her, all this like sexual tension. Um, that to me, it's not Zach. It's not where it should be heading. And I just don't like I don't like the director.
Yeah, well, and I always thought it was strange that they still, even with all the edits and the fact that it's really maybe 20% of Zack Snyder's original thoughts, that they still put him as the only director. And there's actually two other guys that jumped in and worked on that. So, yeah, it Justice League is just one of those real head scratchers. I can't imagine that they would even like, I guess Guardians of the Galaxy, if it would have been three, maybe that would have been like the closest that Marvel would have ever come to that kind of a thing going on. But if it would have happened in Marvel, like I just feel like the whole thing would have been totally different. That they wouldn't have pushed on an incomplete project as hard as they did to get a change. At least, this is again what I'm reading online, to get a change in the feel of the characters and to bring a more hopeful view of all of this into the movies suddenly. So that was like my thing with it was, yeah, from a creative standpoint, it's like I saw some of the Man of Steel. I didn't watch the whole movie, but like that was a completely different view of Superman. And they do carry that on, and I like, as far as I'm concerned, one of the best Batman movies ever, with how he was and how he developed and all of the chemistry. And I will just say this, that the chemistry, how the actors were and how they rolled with everything in the Justice League was like the best part. I like how they really brought it together. Like they worked so well as a group that really, like, the casting was right on. Everybody that was brought in for Justice League and those who came in for Batman versus Superman, Gal Gadot and Ben Affleck, and Henry Cavill, they really, like, that was the whole reason why I would want to see the original thoughts, because of how that cast works together. And it's about storytelling. I mean, even with cosplay in a way is storytelling. That's to me, like, when we represent characters, when we become something, that's a piece of storytelling, what we're sharing with everyone else.
No, I see it. I mean, I think that's a problem, that they try to make it more like Marvel. I mean, Disney and Marvel is very corporate, and everything has to get approved. And um, I feel like what they were trying to do is take control over the situation and where it was heading. Because obviously, he was like, Wonder Woman was supposed to cut the head off Steppenwolf, and there's a lot of things that they try to make it more happy. I don't want to say happy, because yeah, Marvel has some dark things too, and I don't want to sound like I'm a dark person, but it's just the way that the director wanted things to go. And when
Mhm.
you have corporations getting involved and controlling your creative freedom, that's what happens. That's what happens to many directors. Um, and so it's a shame. It's a true shame. Um, again, that happened, and I cannot. The cast, I had to give it to them. It's kind of tough. Imagine, I mean, Gal Gadot, Henry, all these people were given a chance by Zach, right? They were casted, they were given these roles that are incredible, they could have ever dreamed of, right? And then all of a sudden, they finish the movie, and they get called back to reshoot everything in the middle of Zach going through this horrible, difficult time in his personal life, and then them being friends. How do you feel? How can you put that away, like your emotions? It must have been horrible, and I really don't. I don't wonder anymore, because it's like, of course Ben Affleck doesn't want to play Batman anymore. Of course these people are just fed up because of what happened, because it's just, this whole situation was just so chaotic, and it's unfortunate.
Yeah. And well, I do appreciate being able to talk about that with you. I know that it is a bit of a hot button, and it will probably come up again. I guess again, my opinion would be that I'd like to see what it was supposed to be. That's all I guess I can ask for as a fan.
Exactly. Like me as a fan too, like a lot of people have told me like, oh, but don't you want to get invited to a premiere of Wonder Woman? Don't you want to get, recognized by Warner Brothers? And that's not why I cosplay. I cosplay mostly because I really genuinely love the character. I really love the movies. And so as a fan, I put that first than, getting recognized or anything like that. I mean, I think if you really believe and are passionate about a project or a movie or something, that's when your cosplay shines the most. I loved Batman versus Superman. I loved, you know, Wonder Woman film. It's beautiful. It's just stunning. I mean, and these are the two that I do the most. Um, I do love the Justice League, like the posters that came out, the actors, and that's why we do pictures as cosplayers like Justice League, because I believe one day we'll be able to see it, and so to me that's way more important.
I would like to spend a little bit of time talking about the work that you do in charity too. And I do thank you again for your thoughts on the movie. But you've supported a lot of local events in a very short amount of time. I mean, like sometimes it was literally like whenever you would have free time, every weekend, really just like when you weren't working, it seemed like you were out and giving back. Um, are there any right now that you'd like to mention? And are there any that you would like us to be made more aware of that you have supported in the past?
Well, I kind of go like every month. I Let me go back. So it all started because, well, my belief, I'm a Christian. I do this thing called tithing, which I give 10% of my earnings of salary or whatever to God first, and then also that created kind of like a um, and I'm sorry for my English. Sometimes I get stuck, but it created a tendency or like a standard in my life of giving back. It's not something,
Habit?
a habit,
Mhm.
exactly. Thank you. And so it's not something that it's out of the blue for me to, take away money from something that I wanted to give it away to somebody that needs it. So that's that. I wanted to make that clear. And so when I started cosplaying, the first thing that came to mind is what can I do to use this as a tool to give back? Now, not every time it has to be money. I realized that by just sharing a smile with someone, encouraging someone, praying with someone, you can do so much more than just financially. I try to do some financial things. Like when I first started, I collected $2,500 for this Baptist children home that I always, every Christmas, I donate money too, and that was amazing. I showed up there. I brought some of my friends with me, and we did like a breakfast. I bought breakfast for the kids. I was able to buy the kids presents and also donate that money. So that was awesome, and it was my first ever like on my own. And Geekvice helped me with the video for free. Again, that's their donation for me to, hey, donate. This is them, and this is what they do. And we went into the place, we did a little video. So it's a beautiful thing. And so whatever my heart sees and follows is what I focus on. I do it like the hospital visits, that's a given. Right now, obviously, because of everything that's going on, I'm not able to visit the hospitals for the kids, the coronavirus situation in the country. But other than that, like I've been doing a lot of giving to Feeding America. So here in Florida, I'm doing giving, Feeding South Florida, but I'm sure in every city, there's some sort of feeding, I don't know, feeding New York, or I don't know. I'm ignorant about it. I don't know. But I know Feeding America, that's one of the, because I actually volunteer with them. Not as Wonder Woman, but on my own time. Because sometimes I post things about Wonder Woman, what I do, but also people don't know about me personally. Like I've done things where I have gone fed the homeless. I'm not gonna dress up in cosplay. I just went at 3:30 in the morning and serving coffee and things like that. And so I don't post about those. And for Feeding South Florida, I actually went to the warehouse. And what you do is you get these boxes, they bring it to you, and it's things that people have donated. So my thing was expiration date. So I will open the box and make sure things are not expired. I'll make sure to check a list. And it tells you, like, for example, beans, even though it says expired, it can last a year longer than the expiration. So set them into like the good pile, the bad pile. There's so many spiders. I was like, sometimes they will follow me. But these are things that I personally saw with my own eyes. So that's why I believe so much in this organization. And during these times, they go out and they give meals to veterans, to people that, they can't go out to the supermarket. I can't even go to the supermarket and find things that I need. Imagine the people that can afford it. Right now, things are extremely expensive. They're just taking advantage of the situation, and the fact that these people are still working and still giving. But if there's an organization that I would say go support during these times, it would be Feeding America, for sure. For sure, like 100%. But right now, I'm not working really on anything that's kid related or anything like that, anything special going on.
Yep, and we'll make sure to have the link for Feeding America, the ones that make sense for the national footprint in the show notes, so that if anybody does want to donate, please do feel free to. It is a worthy cause for sure, and there's so many of them out there. And thanks to Geekfeist for doing that. They're awesome. They do so many fun videos, and they did one that I know about called Cheat Code that starred a character called Lieutenant Cates, who was played by Lis Wonder. And I just wondered, how did all of it come together, and how did you feel about putting together a short film with Geekfest?
So, did you see the bloopers? By the way, I have to show. Okay, because it's great. I stole from Danny. Like I'm so bad, and it was my first film ever. And so how it came about, it was this contest that was going on, and we built a really good I built a good relationship with Geekvibes and Delgado, who is the guy that runs it, and Pat from We've Seen It. And so we're all like a big group of friends, and they needed actors and people, and so of course they went to us, Eddie, myself, Danny, which is Limitless VFX.
He does some amazing work. Like Dan.
And so we just got together in this house that they rented for the day, and we had so much fun. I was Lieutenant Cates, and I was just like, I never knew like how to act or anything like that. I got my lines, I had my script, my highlighter. I felt such like a Hollywood star, and honestly, we had a blast. And I was just a lieutenant, and it was about, I don't know, if you guys should check it out. Definitely you should check out Geekvibes. I don't want to spoil it. It's very short film, but it was fun. It's about this drug that helps you become kind of invisible. And not invisible, invincible.
Yeah, you become immortal for a short period of time, and so I guess cops there's a scoring system to being a police officer in this reality or in this future. And if you get a lot of points, you get to fight the boss. It was a really great fight scene too. It's not often that you get to see just really well placed choreography. And it was just a really great shot that Eddie put together at Eduardo Lagares that you were working with. And yeah, just the way the whole thing came together. I hope, yeah, again, we'll be in the show notes, but I enjoyed it thoroughly. It looked like everybody had a lot of fun, and just the way it all came together. I hope that you do more in the future if it's is something that you did find that was a lot of fun, and I sure hope that Geek Vice does too. I'm a big fan of those guys.
Thank you. Maybe one day you start in it.
Another project that came to mind, and it really was under the context of art inspiring art. And you worked with at 80 Rodriguez on a shoot for a Wonder Woman versus Cheetah. And it was inspired by one of the covers by Alex Pasenko for a new 52 illustration that he did. And it received quite a bit of attention for everything that went together. And just like, I thought that it was better than the movie that's going to be coming out. And I think I've made that quite clear. You guys did such a great job, costuming and design and photography and putting everything together with the graphics and really being true to that comic book and that artist. And I just wondered if you might be able to tell us a little bit about that shoot.
So Erica Cosplay is an incredible photographer. Not just she's incredible, but she's my friend. She's a friend. And so we've gotten hooked up a couple times by her amazing photography skills, I have to say. We're very lucky. And so we all got together. We all dressed up. Michelle was Ellie from the game The Last of Us. I was Wonder Woman. And then Erica was Poison Ivy. And Nina couldn't make it to that shoot. But 80, for the first time, she wanted to be Cheetah. And so 80 is an incredible artist when it comes to skin makeup. I don't know if you've seen her Hulk. I'm sure you've seen Hulk.
I have, yes.
And she's just really, really good. And so Cheetah requires a lot of body painting on top of, she has a suit. So she got all the jewels, all the stuff, all the nails, and the amount of detail that she put into that cosplay was incredible. So that is what makes, by itself, without even the pictures, like, wow, you're like, this is the best Cheetah I've seen. And it's comic book accurate, which is like even better. And so we just went into this isolated hiking place, which in Florida is not really hiking because it's all flat. And so I remember us being like there and setting up and things like that. And some hikers will show up and just turn around like, what the heck is going on there? They just see 80 squatting in a corner like a cat. And we wasted like 3 hours just like being silly and doing all this stuff. And so then we pull up our phones and we're like, these are the ideas that we have of shoots from covers of artists that we love so much. I just put one by Raymond Lee. I didn't. Actually, 80 posted it. I posted on Vero. And so like that, we just got shots inspired by the comics, which was very hard to do because these comic books, they have all this like body movements. And I'm like, how and we're laughing so hard because I'm like, how do you flip so much and like without breaking your spine? It was just like, it was so funny. And so we took the pictures, and Erica, the same day she sends it to us, I kind of like retouched them on Lightroom. And then we have this other amazing person that edits pictures, Jermati Sandor, who is huge when it comes to editing. He's so good. And so he did this awesome edit of us, and there you have it. That's what happened. That's the picture. And we have a couple pictures from that shoot, and I'm very proud of them, and I'm very happy how they turned out.
It was really amazing, and some of those got circulated all over on Instagram and Vero, and I guess I'm just I'm pleased that they did, because you did really put a lot of work into everything, and Squadghoulz as a team deserves some credit for all the work that they do on the cosplays, especially coming together as a group. And when any of you get together, it's always fantastic. Like every single one, you guys put so much of yourselves and so much passion into who you portray. And the Mean Girls was kind of a fun one from Holmat, and you've done Spice Girls, and you've done Disney princesses, you've done so many. And so this is my segue into the end of the show, and I'm always sad when I get to the end, but I do always ask a few fun questions at the end. So this would be my first question is, do you think there will be at least one more big team up for Squadghoulz in the future?
Oh yeah, for sure. We have a lot planned. One of the things that I had in mind was to, and I have to convince him, finish it up, convince him. We did Mortal Kombat, and unfortunately I couldn't make it as like in the last convention because of the coronavirus was just starting, and I was like, I'm not gonna go to a convention. I don't feel comfortable. I talked to the convention people, and they were very, very good about it. And then it got really bad. Things got really bad. But they were able to go as Mortal Kombat. So my idea is towards the end of the year to do. I don't know if I should say it. Should I say it?
We could just have it be a surprise, because really the question was, will there be one? And you've already answered that.
Very special Mortal Kombat version.
My next question for you, is there a possibility that we might see a Dinah Drake Green Lantern cosplay in the future?
Yes. This was one of my dreams. I always wanted to do that, and I think you helped me also through the coffee. Like, I had a coffee page to raise funds for getting that suit. I do have that. It's just like right now, I announced my pregnancy online. Obviously, it took a long time. I'm about like 7 months and a half. So my body type right now is not the best for a skin tight suit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and I've been talking to various people, like the people that made the suits for 80, to be the Cheetah. I was talking to them to design like a Green Lantern that I wanted, because sometimes I've seen some, but it's not really nice. And so yeah, it's definitely something. I actually have the ring already, one of the rings, and so it was a beautiful gift from a friend. And so I just, yeah, definitely you're gonna see it. There's a lot of projects coming up. As soon as I get back to my regular. Actually, I didn't really gain a lot of weight with the baby. It's mostly like just belly, which I keep very private. And so thank God, because also I'm doing the gold suit from the new movie, and so there's a lot of things coming up. And I've been cosplaying for a year and a half, so I still have a lot of time to even the wedding for Catwoman.
Oh yeah,
I
the
have
wedding dress.
I have the dress. I just have not been able to do the picture. It's just been one thing after the other, but it's okay, because that means I just have content for later.
That's right, and we're very much looking forward to the Green Lantern Dinah Drake. Like, if just to explain for some of the listeners, that comes from the Deceased series. If anybody's read that, and Deceased, it's a really it's kind of dark, as the title might suggest, but the storyline is really quite amazing, and just what they do with some of the characters and some of the different scenes that they have inside the comic book. I'm, if they would have kept going down the road that they were going with the movies in the DC universe, we might have gotten to this, but my favorite part was when when Black Canary becomes Green Lantern. Like that's just like it blows you away. So I know we are going to be absolutely blown away by all of your cosplays in the future. And you always pick them so well, and they always turn out. You spend a lot of time on the details, and you put so much into everything that you do. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for all that you do, Liz, and thank you for being on the show. I have one last question for you, and I ask it.
Sorry. I just want to
No,
clarify.
go ahead.
So the suit I was talking about was Jessica Cruz from my Green Lantern.
Mm.
And yes, Deceased by Tom Taylor is amazing. And so I do want to do that mashup. And I love all that like world. So I just want to make clear that I will be using for both characters, kind of like to have the Green Lantern suit.
Oh yes, because first of all, we had to do Jessica Cruz. That was the original idea. Yes. But yeah, it would be cool. It'll be cool to see both. So my final question for you, and that I ask of all my guests on the show, is what do you want your impact on the world to be?
I don't want to impact just for people to get out of their how do you say that, their shelves? Their shelf?
Their comfort levels or comfort zone?
Yeah, and just cosplay, have fun, attend a convention, come check it out, and just let your wild side, your artistic side, just flow. And before I was like, me taking the picture like that, I don't know, I don't feel, but now it's like, do it, take a picture. Makes you more comfortable with yourself, more, people don't judge in conventions, and so I really would like the community to keep growing. I would like to be a big part of it. I would like to continue being involved in more projects that can show the world how fun it is to be a cosplayer and how it's just awesome, and you can do so much for other people also using cosplay.
But thank you so much, Liz. Where can we find you and how can we support you online?
So I'm on Vero under Lis Wonder. Remember that Lis is with an S. And I'm also on Twitter, Lis Wonder 1. And I'm on Instagram, obviously, Lis Wonder. And that's it. I mean, I started a YouTube channel. I don't have content there yet. I have to work on that as well. A lot of little projects here and there that, but right now my focus, as I said, is, trying to become first-time mom. So it's like a huge deal for me. And there's a lot of little things here and there that I have to do. But we'll get there. And I appreciate your support. And the Squadghoulz also. Follow us.
Yes, follow Squadghoulz for sure, and make sure to support Liz online. We'll have everything linked up. And again, thank you so much for being on, for taking the time today to have this talk. And everyone out there listening, this is Scotty B with Heroes of Cosplay Sanctuary podcast. Bye-bye.